Hey, we're live. Yes, 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 yes. Welcome. Oh, hi, Roma. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Welcome to another exciting episode of Friday Night Hangout. Woo! Oh, goodness me. It's been a long, long day. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our first episode in the month of Yay! Adese, please use that. No, that other one. Just a minute. Yes. Okay, people. I'm excited to be here with you tonight. Good evening, Naina. Good evening, IJ. Oh, thank you very much, Iroma. Nice to have you here. Happy birthday to me in advance. Yay, thank you. And so this month of May, we're going to be talking about health and wellness. And tonight we're going to focus on health. Yes, it's a conversation that we need to have. And in particular, I'm going to look at self care. We're going to be talking about self care tonight. This is something, a conversation that needs to happen, especially for women. Especially for women, is a conversation that we need to happen, that needs to happen at a time like this. And I know the condition out there. I bought fuel at 550 today, and I know some people bought 600, some people bought 650, and if you're in production, praise the Lord. Oh my goodness. When diesel went up so high, January, February, a number of persons switched on to petrol generator, since we don't have consistency of power supply in our climate. And lo and behold, this is upon us. But what I want to tell us tonight is we can still be happy, we can still be very productive, we can also make profits, we can just thrive even at a time like this. Welcome, Izine, welcome. Even at a time like this. And the first thing we need to look out for is our health. A healthy mind is a wealthy mind. If anything happens to our health, every other thing becomes secondary. Even the grumbling about the fuel, the removal of the fuel substance, every other thing will come to a halt. We need to focus on our health. So the conversation tonight will be on self-care. How do we take care of ourselves in such a way that we protect one of the most valuable assets that God has given to us, which is our body and our mind? How do we make sure that we take very good care of them, especially in a time like this when things are going or spiraling out of control? Now, if you're a control freak or you're one that loves to have control of your environment, of processes, what we are going through right now in Nigeria is enough to give you palpitations, because there's a lot of uncertainty right now. The fuel cost has impacted on the food price, transportation cost, and sundry services, right? Because one way or the other, we all depend on fuel to run things, right? There is a direct and indirect impact of the removal of the fuel subsidy. So we're all affected somehow. Some are more directly hit than others, and then also the capacity to withstand what is happening is also differs, right? But one key thing I want us to do is to be very intentional about ourselves. You see, this body, this mind, are valuable assets that we need to protect. Now, as women, even if you're not married, you're running your own home, you have siblings, you have parents. So there is also a touch of caregiving that is your responsibility, either as a single lady or as a married woman. And that comes at a great cost at a time like this. We also need to make food, and we know how it is between Monday and today, Friday. The cost of food have gone so high. Foodstuff has gone so high, and it might keep getting. higher than this. We don't know. But all I know is that we have the capacity to thrive. And that's what the conversation on we're having tonight is. How do we thrive physically, financially, mentally, emotionally? How do we thrive at a time like this? When we talk about wellness, we're talking about the whole aspect of our lives, not just one or two. Spiritually, emotionally, otherwise, we want to be healthy in all of these areas so that we can bring the fullness of ourselves into what we do. So, if this is your first time joining, I want to say a very big welcome to the Friday Night Hangout. Thank you so much for joining in, and please stay tuned. It's going to be a night of insightful conversations, relaxed conversations. You know, that's one of the things I love about the conversation on Friday Night Hangout. We keep it real, we keep it relaxed, and we keep it insightful. And so you have something to share, experience to share, comments. Please don't hesitate to use the comment section. Please put out your thoughts, your experiences. You know, we're all here to learn, we're all here to network, we're all here to really hang out, and that's why it's called a hangout. It's relaxed, you know. Thank you, Ozzy, for joining in. Shanjot, welcome. Oh, I see you. My sister Theodora, welcome. Nice to have you all here. And it's always a pleasure to have you here. In the next couple of minutes, 22, 23 minutes precisely, we're going to continue our conversation on, our health. And tonight we're going to focus on self care. So, when we talk about self care, what are we talking about? We're simply talking about practices that you engage in to keep you sound, to keep you grounded, to keep you happy, to keep you motivated and inspired, to keep showing up every day for what you need to do. Now, if you are not motivated, you'll find it difficult to turn up day after day in that business, in that workplace, even in the home. Some days I wake up and I feel so tired, even after sleeping. I feel so tired and I don't feel like doing anything. I just want to go back to bed. And when I look back, oh, why am I feeling this way? Perhaps I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot of things I have to deal with that haven't resolved mentally. Subconsciously, it drags me down. And so it's a normal thing for every one of us. Sometimes you wake up high, sometimes low. But what we want to do is to have a balance. How do we manage those low moments that we turn them into productive moments? We don't allow ourselves to sleep. How do we look at around us to find credible, trustworthy support system that can help us? What kind of practices can we engage in to keep us grounded, to keep us motivated? These are some of the conversations we'll have here tonight. And as usual, as the conversation is going on, if you're already engaging in self care, please share with us what works for you. We're all here to learn. Share with us what works for you. And so I'm going to be sharing some of my experiences and then some tips to keep you grounded. The first thing is it's so easy to have panic attack. It's so easy to get overwhelmed at a time like this. Everything is just going like this on the speed lane. And so, first of all, those that get hit immediately are those that like to have control, those that like to be in charge of situations. You say this one is difficult because the situation is just evolving. So, the first thing is for you to maintain a sense of calmness, be intentionally being calm. Otherwise, you'll be hit by panic attack. Be intentional about being calm. Listen, we've survived worse situations. This time, this one will pass. And if you're looking for something to console you, I want you to think about COVID in 2020. We can't go through a situation like COVID again. When COVID happened, aside the fact that it was a health scare, that so many people, we lost a lot of lives during the COVID, but so many businesses got shut down. People were not sure of their source of livelihood. A lot of things went south. But in the midst of all of those things happening, a lot of people, myself inclusive, were still making profits and thriving. And this could be you even at a time like this. And that's why you need to be calm. Assess the situation. If you read my post earlier in the day, I talked about identifying your spending triggers. This is not the time to go on spending spree, even if you can afford it. Wisdom is profitable to direct. So, part of taking care of yourself is understanding your priorities. Learn to put yourself in the equation. Stop taking yourself out of the equation and focusing on every other person. Now is the time to focus on yourself. You have to learn how to serve people from your overflow. Oftentimes, we serve people from a half full cup or an empty cup, and that makes us even more drained, exhausted, resentful. I learned the hard way. So if you can't give what you don't have, so I need you to look at you and look at ways that fits you. What will make you happy? What makes you happy within reasonable extent, and which doesn't, and whatever it is you do doesn't, cause hurt to someone else. So what would make you happy at a time like this? How can you make out time to smell the roses? Some of us are working so hard. We put so much effort into taking care of the family, into taking care of business, into working if you're working in organizations, and you're exhausted. And you ask yourself, who looks after me? Who cares for me? What about me? When you find yourself thinking along this line, I want you to know you're not alone, and it is natural for you to feel that way. It means that there is something missing, and it means that you are getting overwhelmed and you're doing a bit too much, and it's time for you to step back and look after yourself. Now, there are certain things you can do that will help you to keep your mood upbeat. If you don't know, the kind of food you eat also affects your mood. If you pump your body with too much sugar, it shoots your mood upwards, and after a while, it dips, and then you start feeling so moody. So, what's your sugar content? And don't say, oh, I don't take sugar. What about the fruits? Don't forget that certain fruits, when they break down into glucose, into sugar. And this also feeds your system. So, watch the kind of food you eat. This is a time where you want to look at having balanced, nutritious meal. Yes, I know you need funds to buy those meal, but can we look at other options of buying food? If you just block your mindset about certain things, you shut your mind into looking at alternatives. We're in fruit season, so what kind of fruits can you get at a cheaper cost? We're also in vegetable season. Thank God for the rains. So the veggies are very good source of nutrition. So both the roots veggies and then the fruits, and so look at all of this and look at ways of getting the nutrient that your body needs, not just eating or feeding your palate, but really what your body needs. And then if you're aging with grace, you really, really need to pay attention to what you feed your body, right? Now you also want to look at what you feed your emotions with. See, part of self-care is you learning how to detach yourself from toxic people, toxic environment, toxic situation. I can't say this enough. This is not motivation. This is reality. Some of you are feeling so drained because you are constantly in toxic environment and it drains you. So you need to identify. So when we talk about toxic environment, toxic situation, toxic, what are we really talking about? When you talk about toxic, even just looking at it, just thinking about it, poisonous, things that drain you, things that harm your emotions, things that harm you physically, spiritually, mentally, otherwise. They make you not to be you. They take away the desire to be all that God has called you to be. You need to watch it. If you are around certain persons and when you're around them, you second guess yourself. You feel as if you're not good enough. Can you kindly detach yourself from that person? That's self-care and self-love. It doesn't mean you have to be at any meeting with the person. There are certain places you need to stop going to because they trigger you. Why do you want to be triggered all the time? So, spiritually as well, it's important to find an anchor. I'm a believer, and I find my anchor by studying the word, by listening to inspiring music. Worship songs really get to me, they make me feel so good. So, find out what works for you. So, what works for you? Yeah, it needs to be something you're anchored on at a time like this, otherwise, you would drift. So, part of taking care of yourself is finding yourself a solid anchor that will ensure that you do not drift. I find mine in the word. Because with life, it goes like this. There'll be ups, there'll be down, there'll be high, there'll be low. But what keeps you anchored on those low moments is really critical. So find your anchor and stay connected to that anchor. It's part of taking care of yourself. Now, also look at the relationships you're involved in. You want to look at the relationships. Who do you allow into your life? You won't understand how much things are impacting on your health until when things begin to happen. Let me tell us a little bit about some diseases like cancer. One of the high risk factor for cancer is stress. Now, you can be stressed emotionally, you can be stressed physically. So, if you are always stressed, just know that you're opening up your body to a lot of diseases. So, when we talk about wellness, is the totality of looking after yourself. You need to look after yourself emotionally, you need to look after yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. Now, let's talk about financially. Self care financially. Listen, this is not that time for you to get yourself involved in things that you cannot afford. No, ma. Self care is looking out for yourself and showing love to yourself. Learn to use the power of NO. 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 Osioman says stress is a bad trigger for me. Exactly. For everyone. And when it piles up, for some people, when your stress it hits you, but then for some people you build it, you internalize and you build it, and all your organs, your body system is so stressed and tensed. Wham, one disease or the other. How does that help you? So you need to get to the point where you get a little bit selfish with yourself. Look after yourself. Pay attention to yourself. Don't be stressed. So see this fourth thing there. If you allow it, it can take away your peace. But because we know that we are built to be resilient, because we know that we're not just going to survive. I was talking to a colleague to say, I said, no, I'm not surviving with you guys. I'm thriving. This is my new beginning. This is my season to thrive. I want you to begin to watch your confessions. Your words are so powerful. This is no motivational speech, this is reality. Watch your thoughts, watch your words. They become or they manifest into your reality. So if you tell yourself that you're going to survive, you will survive. If you tell yourself that you're going to thrive, you will thrive. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. If you tell yourself that you're going to prosper, you will prosper. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. If you tell yourself that you're going to prosper, you will prosper. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. So if you tell yourself that you're going to prosper, you will prosper. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. So if you tell yourself that you're going to prosper, you will prosper. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. So if you tell yourself that you're going to prosper, you will prosper. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. So if you tell yourself that you're going to prosper, you will prosper. If you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. So if you tell yourself that you're going to succeed, you will succeed. If you tell yourself that you're going to prosper, you will prosper. Okay, I'm back. I was having network issues. I was talking about resilience and then my network went bam. So that's what I'm talking about, You just need to watch everything about you, your finances. This is not a time to spend carelessly. You're not doing yourself any good. If you've not learned how to budget, please, it's self-care to budget. And thank you so much, Josie. I was talking about resilience and boom, this took me off, right? You see, financial, if you want to get If you want to take care of your finances, remember that wellness also to have to look at your financial health. It's important that you have, a strategy for your spendings, for your income, so you do not get overwhelmed. It's time to take a look at, what do you put your money into? What is priority now? Because now fuel is 550, 480, 600, 650, depending on where you're buying from. And for those who do school runs twice a day, you have to go to work, maybe you're doing other kinds of business you're delivering, fuel becomes a major consideration, right? So you want to be sure that you have enough funds to run your business, to run yourself, to run your family or your domestic activities, so you do not get stranded. And that's why you need to plan financially. So this is the time to sit down and review. You'll be surprised at some cuts here and there, and it will cushion the effect of this fall. You wouldn't even get to feel it as much. That's what I'm telling you, we will thrive. It starts first from the mindset. I'm having a thriving mindset, not a survivor mindset. And it's affecting everything I do. I'm not taking it to heart because I know I'm going to thrive. And I have to look at ways of making things work. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Look at your own peculiar circumstances. What would work for you? What do you need to cut back on? What do you need to do more of that will give you more income, right? This is a time for us to become very strategic in how we spend money. Earlier did I made a post on spending triggers. Everyone has a spending trigger. You need to discover what yours is. And this is a time to identify your spending trigger. Anything or anyone or situation that makes you spend unnecessarily, you need to curb it. You really need to curb it. And make sure that you're putting your money where your priorities are, right? You're not just spending money anyhow. So very, very important. And most importantly, be determined to be happy. No one can give you happiness. No one can create happiness for you. I want you to know this. You need to know that your happiness is in your hands. You can create happiness for yourself, and you're responsible totally for your happiness. People can add to it, but they should not define your happiness. You have that power. Don't give it to someone else. So, even at a time like this, we're going to thrive and we're going to be happy. Being happy, being contented is one step forward in looking after yourself. So understand what your realities are at this point in time and what options you have, and be very organized. This is when you need to be organized in how you show up in your business, in your personal life. All your doings has to be very, very intentional. Don't forget that you are number one, your priority. Even as a mother, if you do not take care of yourself, it's very difficult for you to take care of your children effectively. You'll break down, you'll be sick. So you want to be sure that you have enough, and from your overflow, you're caring for everybody else. So it's not easy. It's not easy. You go to the market, you see the increase in the cost of things, and it can hit you, and you start grumbling, you start feeling sad. You have the choice of being happy, or you have the choice of grumbling at what is happening. Right now, you don't have control over the cost of fuel, but you have control as to how much you spend on other things. You have control over your happiness. You have control over what your priorities in terms of financial priorities are. You have that control. Use it. Don't give that power away. Use it. And don't allow your spending trigger to get the most out of you. So some of us give people because we want people to say we are good. Listen, let me tell you, no matter how much you give out to people, there will still be certain persons that will call you bad, evil person. So why don't you just focus on being the best of yourself? Do the right thing, things that resonate with you, and not because you want to please anybody or you want anybody to say you're good. That thing takes away your peace. And when you takes away your peace, what happens? You become anxious, you become overwhelmed, you're drained because you want to please everyone. And when you try to please everyone, you're pleasing no one. You're pleasing no one. So please, I'm encouraging us this evening. Take care of yourself. Self-care is very important. I'm going to give you something to reflect on. I want you to think about it. What are some of the things you're going to be doing to make sure that you take care of you? And then what are some things you need to stop doing to make sure you take care of you? Don't forget that stress is a killer. These days we have even healthy young people slumping and dying. Why? They are carrying around so much burden, so much stress that it knocks them down. So we need to take care of ourselves. You need to pay attention to your health. Remember what we discussed this evening. Pay attention to what you eat, what you feed your body. Pay attention to what you eat emotionally, what you feed your soul. Pay attention to what you eat spiritually, so that you're feeding everything about you and you're anchored at the right source. Pay attention as to how you spend your finances so you don't get overwhelmed. Then physically, you need to keep fit, exercise. You need to pay attention. I've struggled, with exercise for so long. But the truth is, it's something we need to do. Once you get very deliberate about it and you can break what we call the jinx, just to get started, you find yourself doing. I know it's not easy, especially when you're busy, maybe you don't have enough help, you have schedule that is not, have schedules that you don't have control over. But the thing is, we can if we make up our mind to. And so let's pay attention to all of these things about ourselves. We matter, you matter. You're the golden goose that lays the eggs. So without you, there'll be no egg at all, the golden egg. So please pay attention to yourself. You're very, very important. No one can be more important than you. Remember, feed and serve people from your overflow, not from your own cup. If you do this, you will feel satisfied. But when you continuously serve from your cup that is half full, not full, is empty, you will get drained and resentful. And no one is forcing you to do this. While you're at it, resist attempts by people to emotionally manipulate you. Remember that there are manipulators out there. They are skilled at manipulating you emotionally. They want to make you feel bad. They want to make you feel that you're not doing enough, you're not good enough. Don't give them that power. No one should define you. You know you better than anyone else. So look after yourself. And then from that overflow, you can feed others. And you will be satisfied. They will be satisfied. And when everyone is satisfied, life goes on peacefully. You will not be resentful. You will not feel drained. So when you're in a place and you're feeling drained, please, it's time to review. So I hope you found this conversation interesting. Iroma says, exactly, you can't be good to everyone, even that person you give all the time. The moment you said no to a request, you become a bad person. Shanjo says exercise requires determination. I know me better than anyone else. Ozioma says, I will leverage on digital space and create more digital products. That alone can make me happy and remove my mind from the present situation. Then go right ahead and do just that. I love this. Owo says, I refuse to be manipulated. Yes, I love that. Very important, because we have emotional manipulators. They would push you softly. Some will come hard. Some will come softly that you don't even notice it. And then you begin to second guess yourself. Refuse to be manipulated. Just be consistent, be intentional on becoming the best version of yourself. And you will find out that from there you can serve people, and when it feels so draining and toxic, it's time to step back and find you. You shouldn't lose yourself in trying to feed or serve other people. No, that's not what it's supposed to be. Learn how to take care of yourself. You're a very important person. You are a VIP, and treat yourself like a VIP, a very important person. If you don't tell yourself that you're a VIP, no one else will. So show yourself that love, pamper yourself. Self-love is very, very key. Love yourself so much so that you show people how to love you, and let their own perception of you not define You determine who you are. You understand your values, you understand your belief, and you know that you are VIP any day. You're a very important person. Treat yourself like that. Pamper yourself like that. I love you so much. Thank you so much. Sandra says, I'll be intentional, become the best, but beautiful. I love that. Ozima says, I am a VIP. Yes, my darling. Yes, you are. I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday, when we'll continue the conversation. No, I want to hear how, how you've put into application some of these things we've had today. What are some of the lessons you've learned? How did you apply them over the week? You as a VIP, what are you doing to make and to show yourself that you're a VIP and to pamper yourself? You're going to share some with me next week, Friday. So thank you so much for joining in. And I really love you. Thank you for making this very interactive. Until I see you next week, Friday, stay blessed, stay happy, and remember, you are a VIP. I love you. Bye for now.